Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Annisa Putri, a business student from the Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Today, I will be presenting about my academic thesis entitled The Impact of EWOM on Brand Image and Purchase Intention of Indonesian Customer Towards South Korean Skincare Products, and supervised by Bapak Bayu Sutikno. So, the first chapter is the introduction. In the era of globalization, it underpins people to have higher living standards and styles. Concerning the growth of consumer buying power and market evolution, people are becoming more aware of hygiene and appearances. Thus, it affects the rapid development of the beauty care industry, particularly in this decade. Based on the data reported by Euromonitor International titled The Future of Skincare, Indonesia has surpassed the United States to become the world's second largest contributor to the growth of skincare. And it is expected to grow even more in the future, which is it will create larger market opportunity for marketers. The main factor in the growth of the beauty care industry is the shift in the generation where young consumers enter the cosmetic market. This change is reinforced by social media and e-commerce which affect the buying behavior of beauty products. Hence, new players keep entering the market, both local and foreign brands, which resulting increased competition. As shown in the figure which you can see in the slide, there is a significant growth in the total sales of cosmetics, skincare, personal care, and fragrance in Indonesia from the year 2015 up to 2019, with a prediction that it will keep increasing in the next few years. A high rate of industry growth could suggest that there are so many types of skincare and cosmetic products available in the market, resulting in increased competition. According to EIBN in 2019, despite various promotional and marketing efforts by domestic brands over the years, global brands continue to dominate cosmetic sales in Indonesia, whether locally manufactured or imported. On the other hand, along with that, Indonesian internet users surpassed 196 million people, almost 75% of the total population. Means that the existence of e-commerce facilitates foreign marketers to sell their products inside Indonesia. So, regarding the competitions that is happening, local brands who cannot adapt their products to the needs and trend these days in the market are starting to lose out in competing with imported skincare and cosmetic products. In addition, there are so many skincare brands in Indonesia, but South Korean skincare product is one of the most popular foreign products sold in Indonesia. Next one is the section of research problem. Most past studies that conduct research with EWOM, brand image, and purchase intention as the variables, very few of them investigate in the area of beauty products, especially skincare products that focus on Indonesia. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, currently skincare products from South Korea are one of the products that have great demand among Indonesian customers. EWOM and brand image are two factors that are being considered by consumers before they purchase the product, especially for skincare products. In this research, personal testimony and reviews can be gained from social media such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also beauty online forums like femaledaily.com. Hence, in this case, EWOM will take a huge part in measuring how consumers are looking at the information about the skincare products. Therefore, this study is intended to understand how powerful is the influence of EWOM on the purchase intention of Indonesian consumers towards South Korean skincare products. So, in the research questions, we have the first one, does EWOM have a significant effect on purchase intention? The second one, does EWOM have a significant effect on the brand image? And the third one, does the brand image have a significant effect on purchase intention? Followed with the research objectives, which are first one, to re-examine the positive effect of EWOM toward purchase intention. The second one, to re-examine the positive effect of EWOM on the brand image. And the third one, to re-examine the positive effect of brand image toward purchase intention. The next section is literature review and hypothesis. About cosmetic industry in Indonesia, we found that in 2015, about 60 until 70% of Indonesia's cosmetic sales were made up from international beauty brands and imported goods, approximately about 441 million US dollar. According to data, it also found that the Indonesian cosmetics industry is growing at a steady pace, as evidenced by sales growth of 7.99% in 2017, amounting to 19 trillion Indonesian rupiah. And then about Korean cosmetic brands is actually brought to Indonesia by Korean pop culture, or called Hallyu. South Korean beauty brands offer flagship products such as sheet mask or disposable mask, natural ingredients such as snails or from the mountains, and so many more awesome innovations made by them. It also found that so many South Korean brands are actually open offline stores in Indonesia. Next is the EWOM or electronic word of mouth. Word of mouth is actually a primary tool for consumers to exchange product related information. But with the global expansion of the internet came less personal but more widespread form of word of communication, hence it is known as electronic word of mouth. EWOM forms in a positive or negative statements made potentially and actually by consumers who have used certain brands, products, or services, and which can be penetrated by a large number of people and institutions via the internet. Next one is brand image. Consumers' perceptions or thoughts, impressions about a particular brand are referred to as a brand image. All of a consumer's consumption experiences contribute to their brand image, and perceived service quality is a result of these experiences. As a result, the quality of service perceived by customer has a direct impact on the brand image. Advertising, publicity, word of mouth, sales personnel, and packaging are all examples of sources and cues that provide information about the product and brands. So, after sales service perception, price, and distribution are all taken into consideration by consumer. And then a brand image is the sum of these impressions defined as a consumer perception of a brand as reflected by brand association. And then the last one is purchase intention. The intention of a consumer to buy a specific product or service is known as a purchase intention. Purchase intention is also known as the most precise predictor of actual purchasing behavior. Several studies have been performed in this area with statistically significant connection established between purchase intention and actual purchase behavior. Assessing an individual's purchase intention is a complicated procedure because it is linked to the consumer perceptions, motives, and behaviors concerning the seller, as well as the product or service itself. Here are the research hypotheses. In this research, we have three hypotheses that will be analyzed. In this slide, you can see the research model and feel free to pause to read it through. Now, we entering into the research method. In this research, the researcher will use quantitative research method. Because the population sample will be studied to help us understand its characteristic, the study is categorized as survey research. The sampling design is non-probability sampling. The sample unit criteria is number 1, should be Indonesian, and the second one is minimum age 17 years old, and the third one is haven't purchased any South Korean skincare products or brands, but have the intention to purchase it because being exposed to EWOM about the product's reviews. And next is the questionnaire distribution scheme is going to be online via Google Form. And then the research object is that South Korean skincare product that haven't been purchased by Indonesian consumers yet, but they have intention to buy it because of its reviews from internet, which is EWOM, and its brand image. The data collection method will be primary data and secondary data, and then the research instrument will be class-ended questionnaire with Likert scale from 1 to 5, and last, the data analysis method will be simple regression analysis and multiple regression analysis with IBM SPSS. And in this slide, it is the operational definitions of EWOM. Word of mouth is defined as a process of customers sharing opinions and information about specific product. And the EWOM is in the form through internet. The table below is the items of EWOM. Feel free to pause to read it through. The next one is the operational definition of brand image. Brand image is a consumer's perception of a brand that leads to the inference of information about the brand by the consumer. Below is the table measurement item of brand image. Feel free to pause to read it through. The last operational definition is for purchase intention. Purchase intention is the transaction that occurs after the consumer has completed an overall assessment of the product. The table below is the measurement item of purchase intention. Feel free to pause to read it through. In this slide, we will talk about the instrument testing that will be used in the research. For the validity testing, we will use the Bartlett's test and Kaiser-Meyer-Okin or KMO. The data concluded as valid if the value of KMO is greater than 0.5 and examining the value of chi-square and significance of Bartlett's test. Next is for reliability test. In here, we will use Cronbach alpha because it is an appropriate test of internal consistency dependability in almost all cases. In this section, we will talk about the data analysis. Firstly, we will talk about the demographic profile of the respondents. We received a total of 206 respondents, with 77.2% are female, and the majority of the respondents are in the range of 17 until 25 years old, with a percentage of 88.8%. For the occupation, the majority are students, with a percentage of 62.6%. Next, it is found that 28.6% are having monthly expenditure between 1 million until 2.5 million in Indonesia rupiah. And then the second one is 25.7% of them are having monthly expenditure from 500,000 rupiah until 1 million rupiah. Secondly, in this slide, it is shown the validity testing result. From the table, it can be seen that the KMO, we received the value of 0.882, which is we are successfully achieving the condition of validity because it is greater than 0.5. Next is the result of Bartlett's test of sphericity. Significance value is 0.000, which is less than 0.05. The result actually demonstrates that the samples are not homogeneous and that there are correlation between the variables in the study, allowing for further analysis because it meets the requirements. As you can see from the table in the right side, it is the result of validity test rotated component matrix. All items displayed in the factor analysis are all valid since all of them have factor loading values greater than 0.5. Thirdly, in this slide, it is the result of reliability test. Based on the table, the Cronbach's alpha are all above 0.6, thus all of the variables are considered as acceptable. As a result, the questionnaire can be considered reliable. Other than Cronbach alpha, the corrected item total correlation is another indicator for the determination of reliability with value term statement items greater than 0.4, and in this test, the lowest value is 0.5. Therefore, all variables in the study are reliable and valuable for the data collection. For the descriptive statistic, we can see that the EWAM is having the highest average value, but overall the mean values are almost always greater than 4, indicating that respondents agree with this researcher's statements. Meanwhile, the highest standard deviation value belongs to purchase intention with the value of 0.817. It means that this item has a greater distribution of data compared to other items. In this slide, it is shown the multicollinearity test. And from the table, you can see that there is no tolerance greater than 1 and no variance inflation factor greater than 10. Hence, there is no multicollinearity between the independent variables in the regression model. In this slide, it can be seen the results of hypothesis testing, and from all the 3 hypotheses, the significance level are all below 0.05, which is all are supported. To conclude, for the hypothesis 1, EWAM is positively and significantly affects purchase intention. And for the hypothesis 2, it can be concluded that brand image is positively and significantly affects purchase intention. And last, for the hypothesis 3, it can be concluded that EWAM is positively and significantly affects brand image. And lastly, in this slide, we will talk about testing of mediator variable hypothesis. This strategy proposed by Baron and Kenny to tackle with the study of mediation consists of making a sequential verification of 4 conditions. Overall, the result shows that all the significance values are below 0.05. Therefore, it can be concluded that EWAM is significantly affects purchase intention without or with brand image as a mediation variable. The result concluded it is called partially mediation. And in here, it is the last section. We're going to talk about the conclusion, recommendation, limitation, and further research. For the conclusion, based on the results of the study, it is known that all hypotheses are supported. Firstly, the first hypothesis succeeded in proving the positive influence of EWAM towards purchase intention on South Korea skincare brands of Indonesian consumer. In this context research, consumers who are having the intention to purchase South Korean skincare products, they will read the EWAM such as reviews of the product on the internet. And secondly, this research can validate the second hypothesis, that is, EWAM positively influence brand image. A positive comment will increase a good brand image of the product, and on the other hand, negative comments will decrease a good brand image of the product. Thirdly, this research helps to validate the third hypothesis that brand image positively affects the purchase intention. It is found that the brand image is having a role in partially mediating the relationship between EWAM and purchase intention. There are so many skincare products, both local and foreign, available in the market, and hence, having a good brand image is going to be one of the competitive advantages owned by the company. Next is for the managerial implication. Finding of this research can be beneficial for marketers to enrich their knowledge that EWAM is a very important variable to lead consumers to perceive the brand image of a product and form an intention to purchase the product. For marketers, it can be cost efficiency because with this study as a reference, it will help the marketer to reconsider EWAM as one of the marketing strategies that are effective yet is not as costly as making an advertisement. And then there are 4 limitations for this study. Feel free to pause to read it through. For further research, it is better to add other variables so that the results are more comprehensive, and the study should be done periodically. It is also suggested to specifically mention which social media or review platforms that consumers use to read about the product assessment. Number of samples, the scope of the research can be widened too and fulfilled properly. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day, everyone.